Can you still collect retro games at a Goodwill? You can, but it's not really how it used to be. To find out how, I took a gamble, bought a few broken PS2 consoles, repaired them, sold them, and used the profit to dive deep into the Goodwill online auction site. Most of the listings were overpriced until one popped up that changed the entire hunt. What I found is now the most valuable game in my entire PS2 collection. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Free Game Collection. I'm Sharif, and this is where I try to collect video games without spending any money. In our last video, we ended off with a pretty decent budget, and I was also able to secure my PlayStation 2 that I'm using for my collection. And inside that PlayStation 2 was this game right here. So the first thing I'm going to do in this episode is list this game for sale because I'm not really a fan of it and it's not in the case, but it is worth a decent amount of money on eBay right now. And I also have this game that's also disc only that I got in the previous episode, but I just never listed for sale. So I'm going to list both of these for sale right now before I get to my game hunting. So Gauntlet Dark Legacy has sold for $17 plus shipping. So after I print the shipping label, I can give you the exact amount that we're taking home. The Crash game is probably going to take a while to sell because it's just a super common game. But for now, I'm just going to package this up and drop this off at the post office on my way to work. So lately I've been finding a lot of stuff that I want to keep for the collection and not a lot of stuff that I want to sell. But one thing that I have learned is that fixing broken consoles isn't always that difficult and you can usually get them really cheap. So I just want to find a better way to supply myself with a constant flow of broken consoles and then actually learn how to fix the more complex issues as I go. And that's where Goodwill comes in. I did notice that when I go in there looking for games, there's never any games in there, at least not in my local area, and that's because they put all of their games and more desirable items on their online auctions. I usually don't get involved with those online auctions because people will get into bidding wars and buy stuff for way more than it's worth, and they should have just bought it on eBay anyway. But there is a category on there that's pretty much ignored by all of the buyers on there, and that's the for parts and repairs category. Now what's pretty cool, they'll list stuff for parts and repair if they were unable to test it. So there's a good possibility that a lot of those consoles actually work, but they just didn't test it for whatever the reason. So for the last few nights, instead of going to the thrift stores after work, I've been going on the Goodwill auction site and looking for consoles that I feel like look pretty good and that I can fix. I put in a lot of bids and ended up losing a lot of them because, like I said, people are just willing to pay way more than stuff is worth. But I did end up actually winning one. It's actually a bundle of two PlayStation 2 consoles. One of them is a fat model and the other one is a slim model, and I ended up winning this bid for $39. Now I do also have to pay for shipping, unfortunately, because this is coming all the way from California. So my total that I have to pay is $59.14. That sounds like a lot, but keep in mind the last PS2 consoles that I sold on eBay, I sold for a little bit more than that. So if I'm able to sell one of them, then I get my money back. If I can sell both of them, then that's a pretty good profit right there, and then I can use that to continue finding more consoles. And I'm pretty excited that I found this particular bundle because the listing says right in the description that the functionality was not tested. So if I get it here and I test it and it works, then I'll be in luck. All right, so the first thing I'm noticing about these is that they're both pretty dirty. This one actually has part of the tray sticking out, like it's not seated properly all the way in there. So I know I'm probably gonna have some kind of tray issues. And then let me open this. Oh, there's actually a game in this one. We got Tony Hawk's Underground 2. It's a pretty good game. Let me just plug both of these into the TV and see if they work. All right, first up is the bigger PS2. I got it plugged in right now, and the light came on, which is good, so it's getting power. I'm gonna open the tray. The tray is stuck, and we're getting a signal on the TV, but it's not doing anything. This one came with a memory card, though. That's cool. All right, we're gonna try the slim one now. This one is actually booting up. Not reading the disc, but it's booting up. It says there's no data. So this one is having disk drive issues, which is the same problem that the other PS2s that I just fixed had. So I guess we're gonna start off fixing this one because I think this is an easier issue. I'm gonna start off by just cleaning the sensor again, and let's see if that does anything. Now let's see what happens this time. So just cleaning the sensor is not gonna be enough for this one. So let me open it all the way up and see what's going on in there. So if I recall correctly, there are two sensors, one here and one back here, that are supposed to press down when you turn the system on, otherwise it won't read. So let me just see if I hold it down by hand, if it'll turn on and read the disc without the lid on, and then that'll tell us if we need a new laser, I think. The disc isn't spinning and it's not reading, so I think that means we need a new laser. Yeah, you can actually hear it when I press the sensors down. It's registering that the door should be closed. So I'm gonna put it in order for a laser for this one. So I'm not gonna put it together or anything. I'm just gonna set it aside and put it together when that comes in, and hopefully it works. But in the meantime, let's start working on this fat one. It's been a few days since I was messing with these consoles. I had to stop because I didn't have the right size screwdriver to get deeper into this fat PS2. But what I realized about the slim one is that I forgot I actually still had another PS2 Slim in here that had other issues that I picked up years ago. So I'm gonna take the disk drive out of this one to put it in here and see if that works before I go ahead and buy a new one, because they're like 20 bucks. All right, I got it hooked up to the TV again with the new laser in there. If this doesn't work, then I really have no idea what I'm supposed to do. So let's try this and hopefully it's gonna read. Looks like it works. So I'm glad I was able to get that PS2 to work, but when I first plugged it in, it didn't work right away. So I tried to look it up online and everything just kept saying, check the door sensors, check the door sensors. And what was weird for me is I'm sitting there manually holding the door sensors because I have the lid completely removed. So I keep thinking they're good. I don't know why people keep saying check them. Well, I did see someone say that they sometimes need to be cleaned out. So I sprayed them with some of this contact cleaner. And then all of a sudden, the disc was able to easily be read consistently every time I tried. So that might have actually been one of the issues for the PS2 that I took the laser out from. And also that laser that I replaced, that I needed to replace this one, that one might not have even been bad. Out of curiosity, I'm just gonna put it into this other broken PS2 and let's see if it works if I clean the door sensors on that one as well. All right, so we've replaced the laser in here. Let's plug this one in now and see if we have any luck. Throw the game in here. Hold the door sensor buttons, and here we go. Moment of truth. It's already spinning off the bat. That's really good. And look at that. So it looks like neither one of these lasers were actually bad. It was the door sensor buttons. I learned a lot today. I feel like I can fix these every time now because I know a lot more about what's going on. This is pretty crazy because this one has been broken and in my closet for like 2 years, which is insane. So now that I got that working and I got this one working, I'm going to put the lids back on both of these, and then I'm going to just make sure that they look nice and clean, and then I'll be able to sell both of these consoles. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that to sell, I'm going to be working on the fat one that seems to have some more complicated issues. After doing some research on these fat PS2s, I realized that in order to work on the disk drive, I need to take the entire system apart and work on it from underneath. So before I do that, I want to try to address the black screen that I'm getting first before I work on the disk drive, because I might end up putting the whole thing back together and then I still need to take it apart again to work on that. All right, so the reason why I think I can do this trick is because when I turn the system on, it is giving some kind of a signal to the TV, but then we're just getting a black screen. A lot of these PS2s have a setting that will let you switch from the regular video output to an RGB setting. So a lot of times people have it set to RGB by accident. So there's actually a sequence of buttons that you can press on your controller if your controller is working that will let you switch it back to the regular video output. So I'm going to try that now. So I just gave it like 30 seconds or so turned on, and I'm just gonna press the green button again so it'll reset. And I'm gonna give it another few seconds. All right, so I know that that worked and everything, but just in case that was a fluke, I'm gonna try that again to see if every time I turn the system on, it'll turn on now. Okay, so that is a good restart. So now I'm gonna like fully turn off the system. I'm gonna turn off the switch on the back, turn it back on, and then turn it on again. And it's not working this time. Then if I reset it, again, nothing. It is working this time. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's weird. So this last time it did turn on and I can still hear the audio, but the system has frozen. That little circle right there is supposed to be moving, and I can't do anything on the menu, so it's frozen. Let me just hit reset on it one more time. This one might be over my head, guys. I might not know how to fix this one. Now this reset isn't doing anything. I'm gonna do it again. Okay, we're coming back in. And this time it's working. So it's hit or miss. I don't know what's causing that. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go ahead and say that this PS2 is above my pay grade for right now. So I'm not going to try to fix this disk drive. The front of it just came off, but I can repair that, but the system itself is freezing and it's not working. So if anybody in the comments knows what this issue is with this PS2, then let me know in the comments, and then maybe I'll be able to repair it in the next episode. But for now, I'll keep it around so that I can use this one for parts. on another console later on. And I'm really learning that the slim PS2s usually have a lot less wrong with them. There's a lot less going on the inside, and they're way easier to repair as well. You have to take down so many different layers to get even just to this disk drive right here. But on the slim PS2s, you just open up the lid and pretty much everything is right there. I haven't even had to take off the bottom part of the shell yet. So I'm definitely taking the loss on this one, but I did still repair the other PS2 that came in this bundle. So let's head out and try to find some more games for the collection. I came across a listing a few days ago, and I didn't expect to actually win it, but I actually had the highest bid on it. One thing that's actually pretty nice about this website is that you can set what your maximum bid is, and then let's say it's $100. If someone else bids $80, then you'll win the item for $81. I bid $100, but I ended up winning it for $75. Well, it was actually $76 because the other person bid $75, so I won it for $76. And I also have to pay $12 and change for shipping. This actually has a PS2 console in it that works, that I don't have to fix. Supposedly, it says that they tested it. And also, it comes with 10 games, and one of them is a really expensive game that's on my list. But when this box comes in, we're gonna unbox it, and I think I made out pretty good here as long as everything actually works. Okay, we finally got our box in here from Goodwill, and this one actually came from Texas. I think it's just taking forever because Goodwill just happens to take their sweet time shipping these products. Man, this one took like 3-4 weeks before they actually sent it out. So if it's taking me a while to put out this video, it's mainly because it's a video about the Goodwill auctions and they just take forever to send their stuff out. Now, I've already pre-opened this up, but it's all kind of wrapped up, right? Just like a plastic bag here. So here's the console. It is really dirty. Hopefully this works. There's like dirt all over everything. I probably should have put gloves on. A little bit late now. There's a controller that's pretty messed up. So it said it came with 10 games. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Some of these are in pretty rough shape. Ultimate Spider-Man. The disc is pretty scratched up. It kind of looks like somebody tried to resurface it or something. So I'm not sure if this is gonna play. And this case is in rough condition. So far, not so good. GTA 3, it's a really good game though. I really like it. But this game is worth absolutely nothing. This one's just kind of smudged up, but this one should play. ATV Off-Road Fury. No manuals so far in anything. A Shrek racing game that I've never heard of or seen before. Also no manual. This one is not too scratched up, so this one should play. Another racing game is a drag racing game. These two have had their manuals in them. Midnight Club. This is a racing game by Rockstar that I never played, but I usually like everything that Rockstar makes. I know Midnight Club 3 is like the one that everybody is always talking about. This one is in very good condition and has the manual too. This one is one of my favorite games on the PS2. I believe this is on my wanted list. I remember playing a ton of this game, just replaying it over and over again when I was a kid, but I don't remember anything that happened in it. So I'm really excited to replay it. And this one comes with the manual too, and this is a Blockbuster copy. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully it is not super scratched up. Nope, it's just kind of smudged. So that one should play. Manual's in good condition. The case has seen better days, but I can always swap the case. ATV Off-Road Fury 2. This person had like 90% of the games in here were racing games. This one has never been played. It's just got some dust on it. This game right here, this is the reason why I got this bundle. Silent Hill 2. I've seen it selling for hundreds before, and this is also on my wanted list. I didn't think I would find it this early in the series. I thought I would have to build up a lot more money before I could get this, but That's the beauty of an auction sometimes. And the disc is in perfect condition. That's lucky, because some of the discs in here were kind of beat up. The manual and the game, though, are perfect. Absolutely 100% keeping this. So a quick price breakdown before I test everything. I won this entire bundle for $76, but then I also had to pay $12.31 for shipping, and then I had to pay an additional $3 for handling. Under every auction, they just have a random handling price, and it's usually $2 or $3. So our total to get this in here was $91.31. It feels weird spending that much, but we actually made a lot of money in the beginning of this episode, so we're able to do that. The value of everything that's here, Midnight Club, Gun, and Silent Hill 2 are all the games that I want to keep. These two, they're worth like $5 each. But this game right here, even as a greatest hits, is actually going for about $170 on eBay right now with the manual, which this one is. All of these games, GTA 3, all these racing games, aren't worth anything, but Ultimate Spider-Man, I'm assuming it doesn't work, but if it does work, it's selling for about $30 on eBay right now. The console itself is selling for between like $100 to $120 with the cables and a controller. I'm probably gonna have to throw one of my controllers in because this one has seen better days. But the total value of everything that I got in the box was $330. So if I can sell some of this stuff, assuming all of this stuff works, we'll be in good shape. If it doesn't work, we'll be in trouble, but not really, because we still have a bit of a buffer in our budget. So let's test this stuff and see if it works. Okay, so I've got the PS2 plugged in. Let's hit the switch. The power light comes on, so that's good. Let's see if it opens up. Tray works, and ooh, it is pretty dirty. I really hope there are not bugs in here. I hope that's not what I'm looking at right now. That might be bugs. Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that these are roach legs in here. They'll go inside the console and lay eggs in there. Hopefully it's not what I think it is, but I did get some gloves. I also have a vacuum right here. So I'm just going to vacuum up any dirt and grime that I see while I'm testing it. I'm going to do a thorough cleaning a little bit later, but I just want to make sure that everything works first. What we're going to do first is test the first game, which is the one that I don't think is going to work. So this isn't really going to tell me if the system works or not, I don't think. We will need a cleaner game for that, but as I just dropped the disc. Disc read error. I think this is going to be one of those discs that we're going to have issues with. All right, let's try the Shrek racing game now. Reading disc. Disc has showed up. And this one's reading, no problem. So I'm just gonna play a few minutes of each one of these games and go through the whole stack. And by the time I get through the end of it, then we will continue on with the next step. Everything actually worked besides the Ultimate Spider-Man, which I expected. So I'm going to set that one off to the side. I'm going to try to maybe resurface it in the future. I usually don't like to resurface games unless they don't work, because then you really have nothing to lose. But I've actually seen people who just resurface them if they have scratches on it, just so it looks clean, and then it might actually make the disc not work. So in this case, I'm definitely going to actually try to resurface it or do something with it, but I'll do that at a later time. The console actually works. It is very dirty, so I need to open it up and clean out the inside and the outside, but it works perfectly well, so no repairs are actually needed on that. Okay, so all that's left for me to do now is just clean the console and clean up the cases for the games as well. Just make sure there's no dirt on it or anything. And then I can take pictures of all that stuff and list that for sale. But I think so far we made out pretty good. It's a bummer that that Spider-Man game doesn't work, but we're going to try to get that fixed at some point later on. So after cleaning everything up, this is the stack that I decided to keep out of this Goodwill bundle. And this is the stack that I decided to sell. I thought that the sell pile was gonna be way bigger than the keep pile, but that's why I like testing out the games when I get a bundle, because sometimes you just start testing the game and you're like, oh, this game is pretty fun. I'm actually gonna play through this and keep it. So when I do my eBay listing for this console, I'm just going to include these games, and I'm also going to put in this Crash game from earlier in the video, because it's been listed up there for this entire time while I've been waiting weeks to receive this stuff. A Crash game is always a great pack-in game for a PlayStation sale. And then, of course, this Spider-Man game back here, kind of let this sit for now, and eventually I'm going to try to get that resurfaced. So let's just get these listed and then we'll add these to the shelf. Man, these consoles sell really quickly. I only had it listed for a few hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours, and someone put in an offer. I always do my listings with the or best offer option, and I got an offer for $104, and I decided to take that. So after buying the shipping label for about $10, we ended up with total earnings on this being $91.19. So all I have to do now is drop this off at the post office and we're good to go. We collected a little bit of money back from this. So after all that, we're adding these games right here to the collection. Obviously, Silent Hill 2 is the big one, but Gun was also on my wanted list. And these other games in the pile are pretty fun as well. So all in all, a pretty decent stack to be adding onto the shelf. But answering the question from the beginning of the video, can you still collect retro games at Goodwill? You can, but the days of being able to walk into a location like this and actually find games on your shelf for $3 to $5 are long gone. Most stores just don't put games out anymore. Even if it's a $2 or $3 game, it seems like video games is just a category for thrift stores now, where that stuff just all gets sent straight to the online auction, if it even gets processed at all, because people that work there will see the games come in and just take them home. But that doesn't mean that you still can't use thrift stores to build a decent collection. It's just a little bit different. The beauty of an online auction is that you can access products that are all over the country, not anywhere near your area. And if it just so happens that no one is bidding on a particular product, you can be the person that's bidding on it, and you can get something for well under market value. Now, under market value isn't better than getting it for $2 or $3 on the shelf, but like we now know, those days are gone. So we have to take what we can get, and if you do it the right way, like how I did in this video today, then you can actually be getting games for free if you're buying them in bundles and then selling out the games that you don't want or the games you already have. But I think after today's episode, I'm going to be primarily focusing on getting products in person in my local area or traveling, because it's just a little bit more fun that way. But I'm going to add the online auctions to my arsenal of being able to pick up games, and this also just kind of took a long time waiting for them to send me all of this stuff, so it's definitely not going to be my primary method. Our final budget should be on the screen right now, and I actually ended up having a pretty decent healthy budget at the end of this video, so I have plenty of money to go hunt games for our next episode. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe, and I'll be seeing you then. Later.